Welcome back to another episode of Hello Redlow. I'm your host, Terry Mullen, and I am so happy you are here today. We are going to talk about being qualified and knowing you're qualified and realizing that there are so many gifts and talents inside of you, and it's time for you to shine your light. So sit back, put on your headphones, and listen in. What if you believed, really believed that you are qualified? What if you believed that you are valuable, that you are worthy, that it is never too late to start that thing you've been wanting to start? So many of us, me included, downplay our abilities, our strengths, our experiences, and our qualifications. But everything you've done in your life, every job, every experience, every season you've stepped into and moved through qualifies you. And whether those experiences were good or difficult, they had an outcome that qualified you. And likely, the most difficult experience you had qualifies you the most because you learned something valuable and you grew from that experience. You learned what not to do and you learned what you didn't want. So yes, you are qualified. People today are paying more for someone's experience versus just their title. I know because I have. We are all now paying more for courses, coaches, and mentors with experience in a specific area. Those who are teaching about something that they learned from an experience in their own life that transformed them. Think about the thought leaders in the personal growth and personal development space. People like Mel Robbins, Brené Brown, Brenda Burchard, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, and many others. Thank God for them. Truly, they helped me so much during the pandemic. Now, I've had a lot of therapy in my life, and I wholeheartedly believe in it. And I also have a very strong faith base. But there's something different about personal development. It is forward-thinking and empowering. It helps you take action and move forward, not stay stuck where you are or stuck in the past. My own coach, the amazing Melanie Clark, and yes, she's amazing, helped me through some very difficult and pivotal moments in my life. So what does this mean for you? Well, we all have different seasons in our life or different moments that we need help from someone else. We need help moving forward. We need a different perspective. We need to remember who we are, and we need to get unstuck. Even great thought leaders and coaches themselves have coaches to help them. It really starts here. It starts with courage. It starts with having the courage to face ourselves and our circumstances. And courage doesn't mean we aren't afraid. Honestly, inside, most of the time, I think we're paddling like hell, just trying to stay afloat. So we put on those courageous cowboy boots, put one foot in front of the other, step forward. We move, we take action. That movement leads you and I to other things. It thrusts us forward. Nothing exciting happens while we're standing still or being stuck and immobile. Courage happens when we step beyond that fear, and God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. Tell me, what is the most outrageous and courageous thing you've ever done? Have you ever done something that was just really daring and brave? Something that reminded you who you are, what you're capable of, and what you're qualified to do? I sure have. And as I look back, more than one time. Actually, I made a very difficult decision a few years ago. I just had to. I got in a 20-foot U-Haul truck and drove 22 hours from Texas to California. Yes, all by my badass self. Why? Because I needed to. I was moving us. Well, I was for sure moving me. I needed a whole new adventure, a whole new start, a new hope, a new beginning, and a fresh place. I needed to pick myself up by my bootstraps and start again from the ground up. And this time, yes, this time I needed to do it for me. I needed to be alone in the wide open spaces, as the Dixie Chicks said. Yes, on that open highway in the middle of nowhere and cry my way all the way back to California. I was leaving behind a place and people I loved very much. But now I needed to take charge of my own life and remind myself who I was, what I was capable of, and what I could do on my own. And I did. Damn straight, as my grandfather would say. I didn't die. I drove that 20-foot truck. I rolled down the windows, let the wind blow in my hair, played the music really loud, listened to podcasts, ate candy, drank coffee, got gas, and even parked that big old truck. Thank God I grew up in the country and learned how to pull a trailer and back up a vehicle with it attached. I spent the night along the way, and I toasted to myself. Just try something like that. You want to find out what you're made of? Do something like that. You will feel pretty good about yourself. It is nothing short of empowering. And maybe you already have. Maybe you've done something really brave and daring like this. I'm sure you have. We all have our stories, don't we? And if you would like to share your story, I'd love to hear it. You can leave a voice message here on the podcast. I will get an email, and you can either do it anonymously or you can identify yourself. And if you ever want to be a guest on this podcast, I'd love to have you share your story of something you've overcome. But I want to encourage you to put on those courageous cowboy boots. Put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. I love the analogy of the boot because if you think about a boot, it is sturdy and stable. It protects your foot and your ankle. And if you've ever ridden a horse, you know how important those boots are because they keep your foot from slipping in the saddle. So back to courage. It's such a great word, isn't it? It doesn't mean that you and I aren't ever afraid. Honestly, most of the time I think we're really scared, but we know how to do hard things. We know how to keep moving forward. We rise up. And you know what? I think there are seasons and times when we know that we have to pause, that we've had too much, that we just need to stop. And I celebrate that. I get that. I've been there too. But I am speaking to all of us women. I just want to empower you and remind you that you are powerful. Yes, not in a manipulative or controlling way. I know that this can be a scary word for some women. Maybe you've had some trauma in your life that was associated with this word. Maybe someone in your life abused that power or taught you to play small and not believe that you are powerful. And when I say powerful, I mean it as a source of confidence, a force of nature. You are capable, dynamic, energetic, persuasive, and competent. Yes, competent. I remember a specific moment when my own coach told me I was powerful. It really rattled me, honestly. And I remember saying, "What? Me? No." And she said, "Yes, you. You think you're always the helper. You play small, but you are the leader, and I want you to own that." So, dear one, I'm empowering you. I want you to own it. I want you to know that you are powerful and you are qualified. You have done amazing things already. You've done really big things. And you may have a quiet strength or a quiet confidence. Guess what? That's powerful too. Power isn't being loud and boisterous and obnoxious. In fact, that's often insecurity. Power is just strength. Remember the Wizard of Oz and what Glinda said? She said, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to find it for yourself." So it's time for you to find your power and see your brilliance and let it shine. I encourage you to celebrate all that has happened in your life. As Tony Robbins says, life happens for you, not to you. And everything that has happened in your life leading up to this moment is a stepping stone for what's next. And I believe that something greater is next. And can we just sidebar for a moment here? I want to talk about failure. For those perfectionists and recovering perfectionists out there, I speak from my own experience. I see you. I know you. I am you. And you know how to get over perfectionism? You just go make a mess of things. I promise. Try something, fail. You learn pretty quickly about what to let go of. And you know what else you learn? You learn to let go of people pleasing because you no longer care or have the time to worry about what other people think. And I want you to remember that failure is just an event. You're not the failure. The situation, the business, or the relationship, and by the way, relationships are made up of more than one person, those things failed, not you. And failure is not a bad word. We learn from it. Let's just normalize failure. Many greats, and I mean many greats, have failed. Great businessmen and women, people that we love and admire, leaders of our country, you and I have all failed. And guess what? Here's the 411. They are human. We are all human. You're human and I am human, and we've all made mistakes. And we're going to continue making mistakes. And failure happens because we're trying something, because we're innovating, we're creating, we're stepping forward. And I admire it. We should be celebrating failure, not just the achievements, because every successful person has failed a lot before they succeeded. They had incredible hardships and rejection and hurdles to overcome before they succeeded, just like you and I. And that's what makes them awesome. That's what makes you awesome. And I know from my own experiences that I've learned some really, really valuable lessons through my failures, far more than any successes I've had. So let's just do what John Maxwell said. Let's just fail forward. Think about it. Do you learn more from someone who looks perfect and does filtered posts on Instagram and looks like they have it all together? Or do you relate to someone who is honest, open, and vulnerable? Someone who shares their difficulty, someone who's been in the trenches and overcame it and shares their victory? I say the latter. Your story, my story, and others' stories matter because we have something to share. It offers hope to others. So stop downplaying your experiences and your qualifications. You deserve a seat at the table, as Sheryl Sandberg says. Put on those courageous cowboy boots or the Hello Red Low high heels. Stand a little taller. Throw your shoulders back. Have a little confidence. Reach down and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Pull up a chair and have a seat at that table. You deserve to be there at that table, in the room, on the podcast, writing the book, speaking on stage, or whatever it is. You deserve to be there. And I celebrate whether you get it right or whether you get it wrong. There's no guarantee when we step forward and try something, take a risk, take action, that it's even going to work out the way we want. But that's how you and I learn. And you will get stronger with each step. It's just like training. I guarantee you, I have. It has been a wild ride these past few years, but now I can finally say it has all been worth it. I am now doing something that I love, that feels authentic and sets my soul on fire, and I now have the privilege of helping others. And I finally see that everything I've been through has led me right here, and I celebrate it. I was in Oregon a couple months ago with my daughter. I think I've shared that before. She was there to choose her wedding venue. And while we were standing outside in the beauty of the Pacific Northwest, a bald eagle flew overhead. It was a magnificent moment, and I paused, and I realized how significant it was for me and for my daughter, because it was symbolic. It symbolized strength and freedom. And metaphorically, it reminded me that we are created to soar. Yes, soar like eagles. We are not created to feel lowly and small. As Mary Oliver wrote in Wild Geese, you do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. So stand up. Overcome those limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, whether they are about your age, your circumstances, whatever it is. it's time to overcome those limiting beliefs and take action. And I grant you permission to step forward, to take action, to try and fail. And then I want to see you radiate your light in the world, because someone needs your story, your gifts, your talents, and hope. Remember, you are Redlow. You have so much brilliance inside of you, and I look forward to seeing what you do. Now pick yourself up by the bootstraps and go drive a truck like a girl. Know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you belong. May God bless you. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope this inspired you, empowered you, and I hope it was something that really resonated in your soul. I also want to encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. I will be launching it on Mother's Day for so many reasons, and it's going to be a love letter to you with my thoughts and something to inspire and empower you. Remember, when you find that inner light, that God-given light inside of you, you discover who you are. Have an amazing day.